no comparison. Let's talk about McDonald's. Arguably one of, if not the most successful fast food brand of our time, ever. Originally founded in 1940 by Richard and Maurice McDonald, later taken over by the infamous Ray Kroc in 1955. Now, if you don't know who Ray Kroc is, well, he is responsible for the McDonald's we know and love today. And actually, there's a biopic on him starring Michael Keaton. You should absolutely go and watch it. It's brilliant. I've said this before, I have a love-hate relationship with McDonald's. Quite like a quarter pounder with cheese. I like a Big Mac. The fries are good, but sometimes they just don't agree with me. After I've eaten, probably because I've eaten too much, but I get a bit of bellyache and I regret my life choices. But we're not talking about burgers and fries today, we're talking about this, the double sausage and egg McMuffin. It's one of the most popular breakfast items on the McDonald's menu, and I love them. They taste good. I only have one problem with them, the bloody price, man. What are you doing, McDonald's? Why? Why is it £3.39 for one?
Why are you putting people through this?
So we're gonna tackle it today. We're gonna make one cheaper, a lot cheaper, less than half the price than the McDonald's one. Because let's face it as well, if you've got like a family, like 2 adults and say 3 or 4 kids, you're taking them out for breakfast at McDonald's, it's gonna cost you a small fortune. So let's go and dive into it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, thank you very much. Share these recipes to your friends, family, and of course the people in need. Now before we make these, I need to do a bit of like inspection. We need to dissect one of these and just do a bit of mathematics. Ah, the brown paper bag, man. It just smells of McDonald's. You got it in your hand, it's nice and warm, you just can't wait to get it home and like stuff your face. Zero it out, do it. Look at that egg. Oh dear. Let's get one of our patties on these scales. So that's 49 grams when cooked. So I need to make 8 of these patties for 4 double sausage and egg McMuffins. So I need to do some calculations. So I've got 500 grams of minced pork. Oh, not 5,000. 500 grams of minced pork. We'll divide that by 8 patties. So they need to be 62 grams each, which is going to be plenty. They are going to shrink a little bit in the pan when they cook because they're going to lose some moisture, so that sounds good to me. And I'm not going to waste this. Okay, first things first. Get the mince into a bowl. I'm using quite fatty mince because you want to keep it nice and moist. If your mince is too lean, it's just going to be dry. So I've gone for about 12% fat there. It's going to be fine. And of course, got to season this up. You can use fresh onion, it's no problem, but look, the reason I'm using that is because if I was to add fresh onion, I've got to cook it down, which is going to cost gas and electric, so we're going to substitute it for dried onion. And of course, all of the measurements will be below in the description as per usual. Good ½ tablespoon of sage and some fresh thyme as well. I'm only using fresh thyme because I've got it. If you haven't got fresh thyme, you can use dried, it's no problem. You're going to want about a teaspoon of that. I'm just going to pick the leaves off and just kind of add it in. Good old pinch of salt, pepper as well. And then you've got to get your hands in there and give it a good old mix till everything's all combined. So now I need to make them into patties. Now if I've done my calculations correctly, we need to make these 62 grams each. I guess you don't have to be this fussy with it. You can kind of just guess. What's that? It's 44, so we need a bit more. 61, 62. Okay, so roll it up into a ball. And if you want to guess, then that's the sort of size you're looking for. Whack on the plate, I'll do the rest. But what do you know? My calculations were actually correct for once. So I've got 8 meatballs there. There's a couple there that are slightly larger, but that's because I had some mixture left over and I don't want to waste it. So what we need to do then is turn them into patties, which it's simple, isn't it? Take our meatball, whack it down, and we just form it into a patty. You want to kind of make it a little bit bigger than your bun, because we are going to see some shrinkage. And then what I've got here is some greaseproof paper. And just take a suitable scraping vessel, and then pop it on your greaseproof paper. Then stick another piece on top, and you can see I've just cut them into like little squares. Okay, this just keeps the patties separate, so they're not all stuck together. And then just do the same with the rest and build up the layers. So you've got like a stack. So there's the sausage patties all nicely made up, nicely stacked. They'll quite happily sit in the fridge till you're ready to cook. In fact, you can do these the night before if you want, save you some time in the morning. And also, if you're like me, you live on your own or you've got a small family, there's just a couple of you maybe, you're not going to eat 4 double sausage and egg McMuffins, are you? What you can do is just make the ones up that you want. With the rest of them, just put them on a baking sheet on a single layer, whack them in the freezer until they're fully frozen. And you can just take them out of the freezer, make sure they're rock solid, like properly frozen. And then you can chuck them in a freezer bag, whack them back in. If they're not fully frozen, you run the risk of them all sticking together and being like one big clumpy mess. Muffins. Now I'm only going to make one because I'm trying to like not eat too much at the minute because my belly is growing. Since I've been off work, I'm not as active. The old paunch, look at that, it's starting to grow. So I'm trying to like be a bit sensible. So we've got a muffin then, and I'm going to toast it. So I'm just going to take it and cut it down the middle. You know the drill. I'm going to get the pan onto a sort of medium heat. Now usually what I do is add some butter to that pan, but I haven't got any. So I'm just going to drizzle the tops of my muffins with just a little bit of rapeseed oil. Smoosh it around a bit. It's going to be fine. And then straight into the pan, face down like that. And on a moderate heat, I'd say they'll take about 30 seconds to a minute to kind of get a nice sort of golden brown colour on them. You don't want them burnt, just nicely toasted. And then to the bottom half, I'm going to add my cheese. Okay, it doesn't matter that this is all going to go cold because I'm going to add the hot patties on top. It's just another job that's out of the way, isn't it? Straight onto the bottom like that. You can use any cheese you like, but this sort of plasticky processed cheese, it works. It melts good, and it's got a sort of cheesy flavour as well. Got my sausage patties out of the fridge. I'm going to cook up 2 of those. Get the pan back onto a heat, and get it fairly hot. You don't want it like smoking everywhere because you'll end up burning the patties, but get it fairly hot. Which this is still quite fairly hot from when we toasted the bun. So I'm going to go in with 2 patties. First one down. You shouldn't need any oil because there's plenty of fat in the patties themselves. Second one down, and they're not going to take very long to cook. You're talking maybe like a minute each side because they're quite thin. So what I do is I'd cook them for about 90% of the way on one side. That way when you flip them over, you've got a nice golden crust. Once you've got a nice golden crust, I'm going to top them onto our bun with the cheese. Look at that. And then the last thing you want to do is top that with a nice golden fried egg. Look, I like my eggs. I will not scrimp on the quality of those. I always buy free range and buy the best that I can afford. But I'm not judging anybody. If you want cheaper eggs, then that's your choice. So there we go, double sausage and egg McMuffin. In which one would you rather bite into? The twice the price McDonald's version, or half the price my version? I know which one I'm going for, without getting egg yolk all over the floor. Mugs will get that. Gorgeous. Miles apart from this one, which is still good. I'm not going to waste this. I'll probably stick that up in the air fryer later with the other one as well. And I'll scoff them. I'm not going to waste it because it's still a good product. It's just bloody expensive, man. Considering the alternative. But I'm going to shoot off. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Share this to your friends and family and anyone that you feel that's in need. Nice, cheap, easy recipes like this. But anyway, I'll see your gorgeous faces next time. Bye for now.